Uh, Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope that you're fine. So today I'm going to start providing you with some lessons so that you could carry on with your own education. So here we stopped in the unit number 7, citizenship, and we said it's rights versus duties like free education and jobs, and on the other hand you have respecting the national authorities and flag and laws. And of course we had a very interesting discussion about the qualities of a good citizen, and we said that good citizens should, or active citizens should do sorry, it's not homework, voluntary work, community service, helping each other, and everything which goes within this context. So we are going to see an example of a good citizen in the following dialogue. So here is the dialogue. I'm going to read the dialogue first. My neighborhood is full of trash. I no longer sleep at night because of all the mosquitoes. What do you think you should do? Well, I think you should talk to your neighbors first and try to convince them to start a cleaning campaign. I don't think this will work because the whole neighborhood is totally indifferent and nobody ever complains. What would you do in this situation? I see. Why don't you just call for a meeting and explain your point of view? You might get involved. If I were you, I'd never lose hope. Alright, I think I ought to act urgently. Thanks for your advice. You're welcome. So here are some questions you should answer. Who do we have in the dialogue? Of course, we have Hamid and John. What's wrong with Hamid? So you see, Hamid is complaining about something. He's complaining about the trash. So this is trash, and trash being that is full of trash, and you have trash all around. Of course, such problems we see them on a daily basis in our Moroccan cities, and it's not cool, it's not fun, it's not so it's disturbing. We don't like to see this. So he trying to find solution to this problem. So he is asking John. He must be a foreigner from a different country, and he's going to give him some tips. So he is asking for advice, or we can say help, and John is going to offer some help. So you need to answer this dialogue. So here we said he is asking for advice, and as you know, advice is uncountable. We say a piece of advice, two pieces of advice, and the verb is to advise. So as you see, Hamid states his problem. My neighborhood is full of trash, and he asks for advice. You see his expression, what do you think I should do? Here John provides the advice using I think you should talk to. Okay, and here Hamid doesn't find the piece of advice appropriate, or it's not useful for him, because he knows his neighbors. He says that his neighbors are indifferent. Okay, see, indifferent, it means they don't care, and nobody ever complains. It means they don't talk about trash. So he said, what would you do in this situation? Because it's a problematic situation. You have trash and nobody cares. So John says, oh, all right, I see what you mean, or I understand you, I see. So why don't you just call for a meeting? So he is putting some pressure on Hamid, and advising him to go and organize a meeting with his neighbors and explain. So, and of course he says, if I were you, I would never lose hope. You see, of course it's another way of giving advice here. If I were you, I would never lose hope. Clear? All right, so I think it's clear here. So you ask for advice, and John provides advice, and you respond. It means if it's good, you say, well, it's a good one. If it doesn't, you say, I don't think it's going to help me. So I have summarized here all the expressions that you might need or you could use for asking and giving advice. So here, what do you advise me today? I advise you to do this. What do you think you should do? You ought to, you should. Using the conditional type to in interrogative form, it's here. What would you do if you were in this situation? It's here. Okay, what would you do if you were in my possession? Okay, in my shoes. And here you answer, if I were you, I would. What would you do if you were in my shoes? If I were you, I would go and call for a meeting. And last one here, making suggestions. What do you suggest? Well, I suggest you go this and this. And the last part here is reaction. You react to the piece of advice. Thank you for your precious piece of advice. I do appreciate. You will help if you find the piece of advice useful. If you don't, you say, well, I don't think you can do that, and it doesn't seem to me. Anyway, here we move now to some practice. We have a dialogue that you should complete. Well, first of all, I advise you to stop the video here and take a piece of paper and work on the dialogue. You fill in with the expressions you have just seen before. You may go back and look at the expressions again, and you come over here. So here, I'm always late for school. They spend the whole night browsing the net or chatting on social media with friends. So here you are going to, how is he going to ask for advice? What do you think you should do, or what would you do if you were in my possession? So here Iman is going to say, well, why don't you go for that, or I advise you to do this, and Samir is going to respond. So please stop the video and take some time to work in the dialogue, and you are going to compare. The following one here is an example. What do you think you should do? Well, I think you should never use your phone at night, and you ought to sleep as early as possible. So here Hamid finds Samir finds the piece of advice practical. It says, thank you for it's your advice. I think you have to learn how to manage my time. Here's another scenario here. It means another way. Here he doesn't find the piece of advice practical. You see, it's not useful for him. Here he says, I don't think he can do that, because she advised him. She said, if I were you, I would sell that mobile phone and buy some books. Of course, he needs his mobile phone, and he is not going to do without. Of course, he might use it in communication with friends, chatting, or just doing researches, or watching videos to improve his English. So, as you know, there is lots of important things that someone said we could do with our mobile phone. So far here, everything is good, everything is clear. You're going to go on your own here. We have here three situations. You're going to pick one and write a whole dialogue about it. Number one, it's clear. You've got terrible problems with the school subject. You pick one, English, French. You ask for advice. Number three, I don't know what to study after high school. So particularly at this time of the year, we have such questions coming up. Students start wondering what to study, what to do after high school. So maybe it's your chance to ask your friends. And last one, as you see, my sister wants to buy a new phone, but she needs some advice. Please. So what you're going to do, you're going to write a dialogue, and in the comment section below, you're going to write to post your dialogue, and you're going to hear from me individually. I'm going to give you my personal feedback, and after this task, it means when we're done with this task, everybody is going to post to write a situation, personal maybe, where he needs some advice, and we are going to provide you with our advice, either me or your friends, and you are going to respond. So that's it, lesson for today. I hope that you will find it useful. So thank you, and take much care of yourself and stay safe, please. Goodbye.